I'm Sarah Drew, and I am at FrConventions. Absolutely not. In fact, I came onto the show thinking I was only going to be there for 2 episodes. That's how it was billed to me. I didn't audition for it. It was a role that was offered to me, and I was planning to just come for 2 episodes and to leave after the second one. And then the morning after the episode where my character got fired, I got a call from Grey's. My team called me to tell me that they were interested in bringing me back, and this time it would potentially turn into a series regular job. So it was just really crazy. I mean, every single year that I got after that felt like an additional gift that I wasn't expecting. So yeah, there's no way I expected any of this. I mean, really, it was just going into the fear of it all, of how would you react with someone pointing a gun at you. I will say the aftermath of shooting that scene was pretty intense. I had some nightmares and some panic attacks after, just because it was such an intense episode to shoot. And to actually really go there emotionally, it took its toll on me in the aftermath. So I definitely felt the repercussions of that scene for a while afterwards. Yeah, I think that what I love so much about April is that she is always 100% herself, and even when people call her annoying or reject her, or she just is like, I don't care. I don't care if you like me. I like me, you know? And I think that really, I have a lot to learn from that because I spent a lot of my life as a people pleaser. So being able to kind of embody a person who's just absolutely unapologetic in exactly who she is was refreshing. I also really enjoyed the faith journey story that April got to take. I think telling a story about a person of faith that is nuanced and complicated and has a lot of dimensions and a lot of layers to it, and really tells the story honestly and authentically, as opposed to sort of broad strokes that you often see in other film and television, was a gift to me. Because I come from a position of faith as well, and so being able to embody that was a true privilege. Yeah, we had no idea. I mean, they really they threw that at me and Jesse. You know, we were kind of the newbies on the show and did not expect that they would thrust us together and turn us into a couple, but we kind of both talk about how we loved that was the way that it happened, because there was no projection that might happen, so there weren't these, you know, building up of looks across the stage for the two of us. We were just investing in our friendship and our relationship as friends throughout the first several years on the show before they thrust us together. And so it felt very organic and very honest, again, that it's just a relationship built on friendship and trust, as opposed to a lot of music playing and sexy looks at each other, you know? So I think that's what really gave us the staying power that we had on the show, was because we didn't expect it, and it was based in friendship. And much like that relationship, I mean, Jesse and I developed a really lovely friendship all the way through working on the show, and had this wonderful trust in one another. So we had the best time working together and crafting that story, and both of us really, really cared about how it was told, and really took care of each other during the telling of the story. So that will always be very special to me, that relationship. I loved, we got to tell like Japril the movie and Japril the sequel, and then come back together and tell another Japril movie. I mean, we got to go through real stuff that feels honest and grounded and multi-dimensional and layered. That was all wrapped up fundamentally in trust and a beautiful friendship. So I think that's what I love the most about the relationship, and I really did love these spotlights that they gave us of these whole episode movies that we got to tell, where they were using our voiceovers and we really got to kind of be in little movies together. That was really fun. I knew going into the flash mob proposal that was the plan for the season. So I fully invested. I mean, I love that flash mob proposal. Was one of my favorite days on set ever, even though I got very sick at the end because it was just exhausting, and I woke up the next morning with no voice and had to do a whole other scene in a mask and had to ADR it later. It was so crazy. But I love that story. I love Justin Bruning. I've worked with him now 2 more times since then. I keep pulling him into jobs that I'm working on. But yeah, I walked into it knowing that he was sort of a step along the way to get back to Jackson. Yeah, I mean, it was sad. It was a heartbreak for sure. She was, still is a part of me in a very fundamental way. And, you know, I lived and breathed in her skin 9 months out of every year for 9 years. So it felt like a little death, you know, saying goodbye to her. But getting to kind of bring her back for 2 episodes was really lovely and refreshing. And what I've just, you know, this character and the show is evergreen. You know, people keep finding it, and I just spoke to someone today who just found the show 3 years ago, and that's just one story of millions. You know, so many, especially during the pandemic, so many people found the show. So she stays alive to me, and I think she always will, because I still get stopped, you know, people being like, yes, I'm still watching her, I'm still discovering her, because they haven't even made it to the end of her story, you know. So I find that there's a beautiful life after saying goodbye to her. Yes, that's what I always wanted for them from the beginning. I always wanted her to wind up with Jackson. It made sense. I think they challenge each other in a really beautiful way. They're so different, but they have such love and respect for each other. And clearly the fans loved them, you know. It was fun to write for them, you know. So I was always rooting and very vocal about my hopes that they would wind up together. So I'm really glad they did. I would just love to see them sort of living now fully into their true purpose. I think that they, in the previous life that they've lived before going to Boston, I think that they were not fully embracing exactly what they wanted to do with their lives. And we saw April go off to start working charitably and putting her gifts into serving communities that are less fortunate than her, and we've seen Jackson sort of be kind of afraid to step into his name a bit, and so now that they're in Boston, he's running the foundation, and somehow he's got some work for her to do there, I think, doing the same kind of stuff that she's excited to do. It would be really cool to see them sort of working through for medical justice in communities that need their help, and really living according to their purpose. I've always said that the door is always open to have that conversation. I love my family over there, and it would be a joy to go back. Yeah, it's unbelievably, I was just thinking about that over the lunch break, that the last time I was here, I was still very much on the show and a part of it, and to know that April is still in everybody's, they're still all thinking about her. Again, it just reiterates that whole idea that it's sort of evergreen and that this is always going to be a part of me. And getting a chance, I met a lot of fans during the pandemic virtually, and it was very, very sweet to kind of dive into that. I joined Cameo during the pandemic, so having interaction with the fans has always been really, really sweet to me. So getting to actually give them hugs and be in the same room is pretty profound.